Nikola Jokic had a near 60-point triple-double in a loss to the Wizards. How on earth is that even possible? Anyways, we're going to break down Jokic's insane game and just talk about him and kind of the state of the Nuggets as well. So like, subscribe, comment on our way to 10K. Love you all. I hope you're having a great start to your December. And funnily enough, we're going to start this with a turnover, but it's a good example of the kind of clunky spacing that Westbrook sitting in the dunker spot. Watson's a improved shooter, but not someone super reliable. So these two defenders can kind of sag inward here to force Jokic to make a tough pass. Watson tries to cut, and there's going to be plenty of good highlights and positive moments for Jokic to come throughout this, I promise. But great job passing to Christian Brown, and Jokic with the starters and like the main guys has been awesome. I love these kind of invert ball screens, right? They're going to want to switch this, I think. Or at least they're trying to hedge here, I guess. So, but in reversing this, instead of having Valanciunas be the one hedging, it's Poole who tries to push Jokic. Oh my God. It's Poole who tries to push Jokic out and then recover back to him. But he's just not equipped to do that. Jokic obviously has the vision to hit Christian Brown for the wide open dunk, and his passing is just next level incredible. Obviously not breaking any news to anybody. This is another kind of good example of a turnover that I think there's something to not having the level of shooting that you'd maybe want, as the defender here really doesn't have to fear Watson coming around for this handoff and hitting a three, just because he's not a super great shooter. So we can have two defenders on Michael Porter Jr. right here, and again, you don't even have two defenders there, but Bilal plays this really well. Porter's defender never has to let up, and Bilal never even thinks about going out to help on Watson, of course, because he's got his man right there. But shout out to Peyton Watson. I do like him, even though he has certain limits offensively. And Michael Porter Jr. has been really, really good this season. Love this, staple of the Nuggets offense. Little flare screen for Brown is the first option. Porter slipping to the hoop is the second option, and just gets caught off guard. Jokic makes an amazing little pass on the interior there, as he tends to do. We're only 5-ish minutes into the first quarter, and that feels insane. And of course, Jokic is the best scorer on the planet. Like, just impossible to stop from the middle of the floor. This is a great pass by Michael Porter Jr. Nice pocket pass. So strong, good with the ball, finishing through contact. Like, just one of the great finishers that we've ever seen in the history of basketball. Like, his touch and size and craft are all unbelievable. Beautiful little drop step right there. Valanciunas isn't a good defender by any means, but he is a pretty solid post defender, and Jokic made him look like a scrub. Like, this is what MVP level guys do, and there's so many plays like this where you can't even see what happens because Jokic is pushing the ball as like the camera. We know Jokic gets the ball here. He was calling for it. This is credited as a Jokic assist. I wish we had the other broadcast, but somehow Jokic outlets it and gets it down. He really does, even though like there aren't all of the Nuggets guys aren't transition oriented. Jokic and like Christian Brown and them can really move in open space. And again, we see just isolation, spaced floor. I like them using this off-ball action here, kind of a little pin-in screen to occupy these help defenders and don't allow them to come dig down on Jokic. And they probably should have come help and dig down on Jokic. Really, there was no stopping him all night, 1v1. For the most part. And the Jokic-Westbrook pairing has been interesting. I think having Westbrook has definitely hurt in some ways, like spacing and awareness, but having another guy who can thread these tight window bounce passes to Jokic, like Jamal Murray has had good passing moments, but he's probably not hitting this tight window kind of bounce pass there on the move. And Westbrook being able to do that, even if it's not perfect, right? Westbrook has a lot of problems within the Nuggets system as a whole, but he is, I think, overall a nice fit with Jokic. And another example of these guard screens that the Nuggets love to do, and maybe more than almost any team in the league besides like OKC, or at least with their five, having Jokic bring the ball to the floor. The Poole Valanciunas pick and roll defense duo is really not spectacular here. But it's again like Poole trying to hedge and recover, but Valanciunas has no real mobility, and Poole isn't big enough or quick enough to recover. And then you have Champagne. Like, it's just the Wizards are bad, but somehow they scored enough points on this horrible Denver defense on this night to win this game. I don't need this is just, I didn't actually watch this entire game. I'm a little fraudulent for that. But anyways, back to Nikola Jokic. Nuggets, one of the only teams in the league, I think, that are running pin downs for mid-range jumpers. But when you have a player like Nikola Jokic that is totally on the table because it feels like he never misses these shots. Where, yeah, if you sag off him, he's going to punish you. They run this exact same play, but this time Jokic pump fakes. Oh my God. His deceleration here, he's never really going that fast, right? Pump fake gets him in the air. Beautiful little long, weird timing. Weird timing with his right foot stabbing outwards, almost pointing like he's going to go this way. But then Jokic ends up finishing strong through traffic anyways, because he's Nikola Jokic. And yeah, you just probably shouldn't put a rookie guard on Nikola Jokic. He is going to walk through you and score. It's just it's just really fun watching like an NBA player at the peak of his powers dominating, admittedly a very bad NBA team, but other professional basketball players as well, and especially guys like Valanciunas who have been around a long time and have some strengths in areas where Jokic isn't perfect or is generally really strong. Again, we see them hunting this dude. It's going to be the third one they've gotten this game, with Brown just slipping this screen to the middle. Yeah, this was food all night for the Wizards. They absolutely could not defend these guard screens from the Nuggets. Jokic is just, again, this is why I like Westbrook a little bit with Jokic, because he is a really nice just straight pick and roll passer. Westbrook is going to pass into space right here instead of just passing to Jokic, who appears covered, right? Valanciunas is right on him, but Westbrook passes right to where Jokic can catch it, a little pivot, and finishes with his left hand. Just into the second half. I feel like I've been talking for so long already, and Jokic, I love these like pin downs, and yeah, here's one stop because there weren't very many of these, but I figured I'd let Valanciunas have one. That Jokic still ends up getting the ball back and able to reset the possession there. But Jokic also so good off the dribble. Gonna give Valanciunas one more stop, and again, even when Jokic is getting stopped, he's grabbing offensive rebounds, and of course Michael Porter Jr. ended up grabbing the offensive rebound there and bailing them out. But even Jokic is one of the greatest like self-offensive rebounders in the league, and he's obviously a great offensive rebounder for everyone else. Great screen there, and I don't know, how many centers do you see in actions like this where they're setting the first stagger screen in a little twirl action where you have Porter twisting off of Jokic, then Westbrook coming to set the screen for Jokic to twist off and get the three right here. And yeah, Valanciunas is just not quick enough to get out there. This is the real danger of having a spacing center who can even slow release shoot off movement. Traditional centers just do not want to guard screens. They can't do it. And Valanciunas is a great example. And the Nuggets use that really well to their advantage. Just Jokic hits the stupidest shots, man. His touch is unfathomably good. Truly absurd, the kind of stuff he can do. His comments after this game were also incredible. Another great little floater. Once again, noting the deceleration here. How quickly he just stops his momentum completely as to not run into Bagley. And another nice pick and roll for Westbrook. This time, more traditional. Jokic is just the roll man. Westbrook finds him in an admittedly bigger window, but that was a nice pass by Westbrook, who, like we said, definitely is a good partner for Jokic, even if I think it was definitely rougher at the start of the season, but they definitely are kind of working it out. Also, just like looking at look at the lineups the Nuggets are playing. Obviously, they were injured in this game. Like Gordon wasn't playing, but like they really have not hit on like a guy like Pickett or Tyson. Even like Strother hasn't been that great. Brown has been really good for them this year, but these other supplemental players just aren't doing as much as you'd really hope them to do. And I do think that's partly on the front office. And again, this is a great example of the self-offensive rebounding. Just seems to have a nose for the ball and will always find a way to get it in. Even over, Marvin Bagley, not a great NBA player, but if there's one thing that guy can do, it's grab rebounds. And defending Jokic in the post is not one of those things. He's certainly, I think, a little bit overqualified for that position. But I don't know. Denver, I think, will always have a shot because of Jokic. Here's maybe number 4 of the Poole Valanciunas thing. This time they finally guard the roller. I don't know why they keep trying to hedge this. Like it's just not a good idea where Valanciunas just sits in no man's land and it's basically Poole having to go back and forth and try to cover ground. This time Valanciunas sinks back and he's just not quick enough. Like I don't know. I very strongly question the decision to do that. But this is the Wizards we're talking about. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Another great pass by Westbrook, and this is the Nuggets do a really good job. Michael Malone, I think, is like hit his peak at getting Jokic these easy looks too. Is just a little brush back screen for Jokic, and Westbrook throws a great pass over the top once again, leading Jokic into this space. But down the stretch, man, the Wizards got the stops they needed. Isolation against Valanciunas. Jokic going to work. Can't finish right there. Westbrook does get the offensive rebound, which is super clutch. And then down the stretch, I mean, just trying to come back desperately. Jokic can't finish. But again, the fact that the Nuggets could not turn this performance into a victory says a whole lot about their basketball team at the moment. And yet it is really hard to be all the way out of them because they have Nikola Jokic, who is, I think, probably a top 10 player of all time at this point. Like, he is, or in that range. I don't know. He is absurd, and I think he's the MVP pretty clearly. Unless the Nuggets like miss the playoffs or something, which I don't think is going to happen. But his ability to just carry as a scorer these days is so absurd while being the best passer in the league. He's ridiculous. And I think hopefully, Jamal Murray getting better at this point seems kind of like a pipe dream. But Brown's development, really nice with him. Westbrook is developing a chemistry with him. And hey, we'll see what they can build going forward. But if you like this video, consider a like, comment, or subscription. Y'all are the best.